Thank you, and we're pleased to be here to talk about the question of the empowered community and the cross-community session that has been held here at ICANN 59, the Policy Forum in Johannesburg, South Africa. We are gathered here this week with over 1,500 delegates, nearly 400 also from Africa, to talk about the various policy and advice activities of ICANN, and in particular because a proposed bylaw change to our main documents. This invoked a special session of our empowered community to discuss this in terms of reviewing and approving that amendment. It was well attended. The 5 decisional members were there to explain their procedures and to explain to the community this important function of oversight to any bylaw changes that will be taking place after the final approval process. And here I have Mary Wong, our Senior Director and Special Advisor on various bylaw matters, to talk a little more about their powers. Mary, please.
Thank you very much, David. And as David said, we had a very well-attended community forum just a couple of days ago here in Johannesburg. And this is the first ever invocation of the new community powers for the empowered community under ICANN's revised bylaws. It also means it was the first ever community forum. And so, of course, there was a great deal of interest. The community forum is intended to allow the community to discuss proposals, and in this case, it was a proposal to amend a fundamental bylaw. The reason why this is important is that even though the empowered community is made up of 5 of our supporting organizations and advisory committees, and it's these 5 decisional participants that now have to go back and decide if they wish to approve the fundamental bylaw change, a community forum is exactly that. It allows the rest of the community, including individuals and members of other supporting organizations and advisory committees, to provide feedback. And so what's going to happen next is that at the end of ICANN 59, this triggers a 21-day period for each of the 5 decisional participants to decide if indeed they approve the fundamental bylaw amendment that's been proposed by the ICANN board. David?
The fundamental bylaw change really relates to how the board of directors of ICANN divide their work in terms of various responsibilities and reviews under the new bylaws. And so this is an important first step in the new changes to ICANN and the organization, as well as the empowered community's oversight and approval process. So we're very happy that there was such great interest in this, and the processes are in place to move this forward.
And if I may add one more thing, David?
Yes, please.
So that was the first trigger of the first community power under our new bylaws. There are in fact 9 community powers altogether. Whether you consider it good news or bad news, the ICANN board has also just triggered a second community power. And this is quite an important one, partly because this is the community power that will be triggered every year, because it's the ability of the empowered community to reject ICANN's and IANA's budgets and ICANN's operating plan for the next year. So what will happen in that regard is that there will also be a 21-day period that's just kicked off. The process is a little bit different from approving the fundamental bylaw amendment, but this 21-day period allows any individual to approach any of the 5 decisional participants with a petition, if they so wish, to reject the ICANN budget or the IANA budget or the operating plan. And like I said, it's a different process. We're not going to get into it, but I just wanted to let everyone who's watching this know that we now have 2 community powers that have been triggered under the new ICANN bylaws.
All of these measures help us to ensure openness, transparency, and accountability from all those involved in the ICANN community. And with that, I thank you for this opportunity to tell you a little bit about the next steps here at ICANN.
Thank you.